to another Coffee with Kilroy. I have my coffee, and I hope you are enjoying a beverage of your choice. Today, I'm continuing my coverage of postcard games. These are small format games that other different publishers provide, but the most notable is LPS Inc., which publishes Against the Odds magazines, and Turning Point Simulations game company, and they include these postcard games along with their magazine games. They produce a magazine and a game in Against the Odds magazine. They also provide die-cut counters for several of their games. Now, when I first started out collecting these, I did not get the die-cut counters for all of them, and I'm missing a few. And in fact, as I started this series, I went rummaging around in my stash where I keep my postcard games, and I was actually able to find some additional die-cut counters. So I previously covered Stand at Mortain, and it has two different types of postcards. It's the same map, but the counters are a little bit different. But I was able to find the counters for this, and so I do have this as well. So that was kind of a nice little surprise in doing this whole series here. So, and I'll put a link to all the postcard games that I've covered so far down below in the description. But you can go back and take a look at my discussion on Stand at Mortain, but then, now I have counters that go along with it if you want to check out those counters. I was also able to find counters for Some Pulls Apart. So these are the counters that go with that. Again, double-sided there. And we're able to find those counters as well. So that's kind of nice there. So if you want to check out Some Pulls Apart, go check out my Coffee with Kilroy. But you can look at these for the counters. There's still a few that I don't have counters for, but that was a pleasant surprise to find that. So now where are we at today? Well, we're up to La Garde, recule. This is the attack at Waterloo. So we have French and British forces here, and there is a counter sheet that comes along with that, as you can see here. Very nice, very typical Against the Odds magazine counters. They're nice color, nice look, nice design, good thickness. The only downside is they tend to have some corner nibs when you poke them out. They're a little thick, and so the die cut is not as clean, and so they get some corner nibs. And I'm not a counter clipper by trade, but Against the Odds magazine counters and Decision Games counters, especially for some of their magazine games, tend to make me want to clip counters. So I've clipped a few, but I'm way behind on trying to catch up on Against the Odds stuff because I have quite a bit of it. So there's the counters for La Garde, recule. Let's take a look at the game itself. Now, these are postcard games in that they are on the size of a postcard here, as you can see. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them actually serve as a postcard. They have a place to put your address, you put a stamp on this, and guess what? You can send a friend a game. Think about that. Wow, what a great world this would be. So you've got, some of them don't take up this space to go into the rules and charts and tables, but some of them just try to be a postcard. These games have all the rules on the back. There's your map right there on the front. You cut out these counters unless you get these die cut counters, which Against the Odds will send these to you if you request them for the game the postcard you're picking out. And but otherwise you cut these out and then play them on the front. That's all fine and good, except for how do you refer to the rules? The rules are on the back. So you either need to make a copy of the rules or make a copy of the map. Some people blow this up, make a copy of the map and blow it up so they have a little bit clearer surface to play on. each to their own, right? I mean, it's meant to be kind of a small format game, or small. It doesn't take up hardly any table space. You can play this on a plane, train, anywhere. So you got to figure out what to do with the rules. The rules are not extensive here. As you see here on the rules, you have setup, play, combat, reinforcements, and victory. This is designed by Paul Rohrbaugh. He designs, I don't know if he's designed every one of these, but he's designed a whole lot of these. And consistent with a lot of Paul's designs are you use a standard deck of cards. So you're going to use a standard deck of cards, include one joker, shuffle those up, and those cards will determine activation. The color of the card usually determines activation, and then the numbers on the card might determine, when I say color, it might determine the activation for which force gets to activate, whether it's the French or the British. But then the number on the card might tell you how many activations you get. And so you're using a deck of card to determine activations. You also use a deck of cards to determine your combat. And there'll be a modifier based on, sometimes there's modifier based on the terrain. As you see here, you have a terrain chart that talks about some of its effects, either on movement or combat, and then you have a description of the cards themselves. This actually has an arrival turn, and also where they're located, but it also has an attack factor and a defense factor that you'll use with the cards to determine, your combat in this case. So there you have it. So all you need is this postcard. Figure out a way to read the rules while you're playing on the front side of it, and you'll need a deck of cards. And that's it. Because you can cut these out and go to town, or you can get the die cut and put those in a baggie and keep those with this. Or you can blow this up, blow up the rules, blow up the map, use the die cut counters, make a specialized deck of cards, and you have yourself a full-on war game. So do it yourself, right? Anyway, so this is dealing with an attack on Waterloo, or one aspect of the attack on Waterloo. One of the downsides of these pocket games, at least for me, I like the format. They're not meant to be too in-depth or complex, but you lack a little bit of the history here. You don't really get much, since they have to use this space on the back for the rules. You really don't get a setup of the situation as much. Of what portion of the attack is this? What's going on here? For those who are very familiar with the Battle of Waterloo, you might be able to figure this out, but it doesn't give you the historical context. And I play war games for the historical context. So you lose a little bit of that, but you get a really small, nice little package game here. So that's what I have for you today, with a little bit of bonus, going over the counters for previous games, Stand at Mortain and Some Pulls Apart. So you got a little bit of a bonus with your coffee today. I will continue on with this series till I get to the end. I have several of these because I've gotten a lot of Against the Odds and Turning Point simulation stuff over the years, but I will have an endpoint to it. And I sprinkle in my other typical Coffee with Kilroy stuff, books and game books and war game books and inserts and what have you, whatever I can get, whatever paper products I get my hand on, I usually cover with Coffee with Kilroy. Anyway, love to know what your thought about this game, or postcard games in general, or any of the other games I talked about on here, or my Coffee with Kilroy segments. Love to hear your thoughts on it. Do you enjoy it? I think I get the most comments on my Coffee at Kilroy segments, so I'm keeping it up, and I'm all hopped up on coffee. So as long as I'm hopped up, I might as well talk about something. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. And the best way I know you stop by is dropping a comment about anything or everything. Just keep it civil. Take care and have a good one. Thanks for watching.